Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXB and today's the 27th of April 2023. Now listen guys, I was going to start today's episode by discussing the drama going on between Coinbase and SEC. That is, Coinbase is actually suing SEC, and that was one of the biggest news in the crypto world last week. But since the last 24 hours, another news has overtaken that news, and that is the First Republic Bank, and the share prices have fallen down miserably, and because of that, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have pumped up. So in today's episode, I'm going to be starting off by discussing First Republic Bank's downfall and what kind of an impact did it have on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, are there chances for the bank to go completely belly up? Most likely no, but in the meantime, it has definitely impacted the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So we'll definitely go ahead and start the episode by discussing that. And then we're going to be looking at the drama going on where Coinbase is suing the Security Exchange Commission. And guys, later on, we'll also be discussing David Marcus, who I believe played a pivotal role in Facebook Messenger, and he was known for creating Facebook's DEM project. Unfortunately, the project did not succeed, but the news is that he recently said that Bitcoin is the future of payments, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk more about it. And guys, later on in the episode, we're going to be discussing what the US regulators are thinking about cryptocurrency industry. And to be honest, guys, they haven't said anything positive. As a matter of fact, guys, CFTC, that is US Commodity Future Trading, has actually said that crypto is used for illicit finances. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news. So quite a lot to cover in today's episode. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I'm going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and Middle East. Now, both the news that I'm going to be discussing today are events that I'm conducting on the 6th of June 2023. And guys, I tend to do this event every month, but this session on the 2nd of June 2023 is going to be absolutely massive. So there are two events, and the first event is called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order, and these sessions are completely free of cost. And the second event, guys, is PESTLER analysis on Bitcoin. Now, PESTLER analysis stands for political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental and religious analysis on Bitcoin. And guys, if you've done your master's or MBA, you would know why you can use PESTLER analysis for. Not only for Bitcoin, you can do it for other industries as well. But what I plan to do is, guys, I plan to use PESTLER analysis for, let's say, Ethereum, for stable coins, for DeFi, pretty much for everything. If you do want to contribute and want to be a part of it, drop me an email to info@blockchaintxb.com, and all the registration details will be in the show notes below. Now guys, before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retailer and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal, guys. They are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they have replaced it with Web3, and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below, you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now guys, the massive news that is circulating in the banking world is the collapse of First Republic Bank. It hasn't collapsed technically, but the share prices have fallen down, and because of that, the prices of Bitcoin did actually cross the $30,000 mark, and I'll go ahead and explore what the drama is all about. Now as of today, the global crypto market is at $1.22 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 5.72%. And look guys, if you're looking at price by your coin market cap, what you can do is, you can scroll it down on maximum increase in price since the last 24 hours. Unfortunately guys, a lot of shit coins or scam coins have been pumped up the most since the last 24 hours. So if I were you, I would definitely ignore the last 24 hours. But again, it is not financial advice. Now, the total crypto market over the last 24 hours is at $51.80 billion. Still ridiculously less. But listen to this, guys. Even at $51.80 billion, since the last 24 hours, it has increased by 50.02%. This is absolutely not ideal. And even if you look at the volume of DeFi, it is below the $4 billion mark. It is currently at $3.97 billion, and the total value locked has once again crossed the $50 billion mark and stands at $50.05 billion, and Lido is still dominating with 24.30%, and so far as the total value locked is concerned, it is at $12.16 billion, and DeFi, guys, is accounting for 10.13% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, followed by MakerDAO at $7.55 billion. The number third so far as total value locked is concerned is Aave at $5.46 billion. Core Finance is at number 4 at $4.84 billion. And finally, guys, Uniswap at $4.21 billion. And guys, later on, we'll also be looking at the market cap of decentralized exchanges. And to be honest, guys, the numbers are definitely not as per expectation. And we talk so much about decentralization, we talk so much about government, and we tend to blame the banking industry. Unfortunately, if you look at the user volume in decentralized exchanges, or even if you look at the market cap, it is definitely not ideal. Now, another metric which is not ideal in the cryptocurrency world is that of stablecoins, and the volume of stablecoins is at $46.64 billion, and stablecoins, guys, account for 90.04% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. That is absolutely horrendous. And out of the $46.64 billion, Tether USDT is at $35.51 billion, Circle USDC is at $5.82 billion, and Binance BUSD, guys, is at $3.37 billion. And guys, I was just looking at the trend of Binance BUSD at one point of time. For just a few months, to be honest, Binance BUSD's 24-hour trading volume used to hover well above the $8 billion mark. On an average day, it was somewhere around $10 billion. So the 24-hour trading volume of Binance BUSD has definitely fallen down by threefolds. Now, guys, let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And surprisingly, Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume has definitely pumped up. And as of today, it is at $11.6 billion, whereas Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is at $26.4 billion. So drastic movement in the 24-hour trading volume of Ethereum. Now, at this point of time, it's really hard to tell if people are buying or selling Ethereum, because if you look at the price, it is relatively constant for almost 7 days now. Now, the market cap of Bitcoin is $559 billion, and Ethereum is at $228 billion. The dominance of Bitcoin is marginally pumped up at 46.78%, whereas Ethereum is at 19.10%. Now, in today's episode, guys, I'm going to be looking at the market cap of decentralized exchanges, and Uniswap, guys, is only at $4.09 billion. And guys, when we're talking about First Republic Bank, I'm also going to be discussing the market capitalization or market cap of First Republic Bank. And to be honest, guys, the numbers are absolutely scary. Now, going back to decentralized exchanges, the second protocol is Curve, and the market cap is $759 million, followed by PancakeSwap at $518 million. Now listen, guys, even if you were to combine all the decentralized exchanges, the volumes are ridiculously low. Keeping in mind, Bitcoin has been in the industry for well over a decade, and we talk so much about decentralized exchanges, and we tend to bash centralized exchanges. Unfortunately, the volume is still ridiculously low. Now, guys, the next metric I'll be looking at is the market cap of gaming industry, keeping in mind cryptocurrency and blockchain protocols. And surprisingly, the Sandbox is number 1, and its market cap is $1.07 billion. Now look, guys, Sandbox has more to do with Metaverse, and the numbers are absolutely not ideal at all. Apart from the numbers, if you look at the user experience of Decentraland or Sandbox, it is absolutely horrendous. The second gaming protocol is Axie Infinity, and its market cap is $915 million, followed by Engine Coin at $393 million. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. For a few hours, guys, earlier in the day, Bitcoin did cross the $30,000 mark, but has gradually gone down, and it is currently at $28,832. Now, since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.87%, but since the last 7 days, it is down by 5.44%. Now, the news of First Republic Bank has definitely impacted the price of Bitcoin and even Ethereum. in a positive way, and Ethereum is at $1,810, and since the last 24 hours though, it is down by 1.52%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 8.62%, and this again boggles me, guys, because if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is definitely pumped up. So I'm not sure if people are buying and selling Ethereum at the same time. Unfortunately, the price has not changed at all. Binance BNB Coin is at $329. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 1.39%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.88%. And look, guys, if you're aggressively into trading, and if you're looking at the price pretty much every hour, the top 3 protocols which has pumped up since the last 24 hours is Render Token, and it is apparently up by 22.29%. I really am not sure what that protocol is. Its market cap is well less than $1 billion. As a matter of fact, the market cap of Render Token is only at $808 million. Injective is number 2. Its token symbol is INJ, and that is up by 10.59%. And Multiverse X, the token symbol as EGLD, is up by 6.97%. Now these protocols, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if it drastically pumps down in the next 24 hours. Similarly, guys, if you look at the worst performing assets since the last 24 hours, Litecoin has been doing ridiculously bad, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 5.92%. And look, guys, whenever there is a Bitcoin halving, there is always this narrative building up regarding Litecoin, and historically, few months before Bitcoin halving, when Litecoin has its halving, the prices of Litecoin tends to pump up right to the moon. So please remember when Litecoin's next halving is taking place, because I'm pretty much sure after the halving, all the news surrounding Litecoin dies down and the prices tends to fall down, and this has historically happened since its inception. The Neo protocol is also doing bad since the last 24 hours. It is down by 5.36%, and ICP or Internet Protocol is down by 5.09%. Now just some fun fact, guys. The day ICP launched or Internet Computer launched, it immediately shot up in the top 10 cryptocurrency coins. Unfortunately, as of now, it is at number 28, and I very specifically remember just in a span of 1 week, its market cap went down by well over 90%. And these are the coins, guys, that we need to be extra careful and not pay attention to what cryptocurrency influencers or so-called price influencers talk about these protocols. Now, guys, what is going on in the world of the finance industry is First Republic Bank has gone down, and what is crazy is that this time the US government is not trying to help them as well. Now, First Republic Bank, guys, caters to high net worthy individuals, and it operates 93 offices in 11 states, primarily in New York, California, Massachusetts, and Florida. And as of 31st of December 2022, the company had $166 billion in outstanding loan receivables, including $102 billion in loans secured by residential real estate, $34 billion in loans secured by income-producing commercial real assets, $18 billion in business loans, and $10 billion in other loans. And gas collateral securing loans was overwhelmingly in the metro areas of Boston, New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. What happened is that First Republic Bank, which is based in San Francisco, reported on Monday that it lost almost $72 billion in deposits from 31st of December to 31st of March, and the drop of more than 40% dropped sales despite a $30 billion infusion from 11 rival lenders on March 16th, and as the government and the private sector sought to head off a broader banking crisis. And look, guys, the massive collapse has just kicked off for First Republic Bank. I'm pretty much sure investors who are connected with First Republic Bank will absolutely be furious, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've lost millions, if not billions of dollars. And Reuters did actually publish a report that states that First Republic Bank's market value has plunged below the $1 billion for the very first time in its history, after a report that the US government was also not willing to intervene in the rescue process. And listen to this, guys. The bank's market capitalization in November of 2021 was $40 billion. So think of it, guys, from $40 billion, it is down to $886 million. This is absolutely tragic. And because of this news, guys, people tried to withdraw the funds. A lot of the customers did actually withdraw the funds, and because of that news, the price of Bitcoin did actually pump up, and Bloomberg did actually report that Bitcoin crossed the $30,000 mark due to the US banking crisis. Now, the article via Bloomberg also states that crypto has been pitched as an alternative to traditional banking, So guys, the big question is, are we heading towards an era where there is 100% separation of money and the state? Now, Bitcoin.com has also reported that customers from First Republic withdrew around $100 billion in deposits in March, and this, guys, is absolutely not ideal. And because of this news, the price of Bitcoin and even Ethereum definitely pumped up, but it has gradually fallen down. Now, there is very less chance that the bank would go completely belly up. And guys, because of this news, it's going to be really interesting to see how Jerome Powell reacts to the interest rate hike. The next interest rate hike will not be much higher than maybe 25 basis points, so keep an eye on Jerome Powell when he announces the interest rate hike on the 2nd or most likely on the 3rd of May. And that news, guys, will have a significant impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, guys, let's discuss a massive drama that is going on last week, and that is regarding Coinbase and Security Exchange Commission. And Coinbase took legal action against the Security Exchange Commission on Monday, asking a federal judge to force the regulators to share its answers to Coinbase's July 2022 petition on whether existing securities rulemaking process can be extended to the crypto industry. And guys, Paul Grewal, who is the chief legal officer for Coinbase, did actually mention via Twitter that Coinbase has filed a narrow action in federal court to compel Security Exchange Commission to do one simple thing, and the answer is pretty simple. They want SEC to respond in either yes or no to Coinbase's pending rulemaking petition that actually asks SEC to provide overdue guidance for the crypto industry. So what I'd really recommend you to do is follow Paul Grewal via Twitter, and he did give an official link, and that link does have a blog, and the blog details his explanation on what Coinbase has been doing with Security Exchange Commission. And guys, CNBC, they have provided an article and they provide a very brief summary. So essentially what happened is, Coinbase took legal action against SEC on Monday, asking a federal judge to force the regulators to share its answers on Coinbase's July 2022 petition on whether existing security rulemaking processes could be extended to the crypto industry. Now, guys, the 2022 petition didn't receive a specific public response from the SEC, which has pursued a spate of enforcement actions against individuals and entities in the crypto industry, and Coinbase was the subject of Wells' notice from the SEC in March, a formal warning that an enforcement action against the exchange would be expected. And I very specifically mentioned this in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast because the CEO, Brian Armstrong, was definitely not happy about it. Now, guys, from the SEC's public statements and enforcement activity in the crypto industry, it does seem like the SEC has already made up its mind to deny their petition, but they haven't told the public that yet. So the action that Coinbase filed simply asks the court to ask the Security Exchange Commission to share its decision. And guys, since January, the SEC has taken action against cryptocurrency exchanges, that is Bittrex and Gemini, and crypto lender Genesis as well, and a number of individual actors were accused of manipulating crypto assets, including notorious crypto entrepreneur Justin Sun and disgraced Terraform Labs founder Do Kwon. And guys, the move is Coinbase's first formal salvo against the regulator a little over a month after it was warned by the SEC of pending legal actions through a Wells notice. And Coinbase does not take any litigation lightly, and especially when it relates to one of their own regulators. And regulatory clarity, guys, is overdue for the industry. And Paul Grewal, in the blog, he mentioned that yet Coinbase and other several crypto companies are facing potential regulatory enforcement actions from the SEC, even though they have not been told how the SEC believes the law applies to the business. So it's going to be really interesting to see how and when this news develops. Now, guys, listen, I very specifically remember probably in 2019, there was another project that they tried to sue the SEC, and unfortunately that company did go belly up. They lost a lot of funds, but in case of Coinbase, they're loaded with a lot of funds, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the news develops, because in yesterday's podcast, I did talk about Coinbase did hint about leaving from the United States of America. Now, guys, let's move to another news, and this is regarding David Marcus. Now, David Marcus, guys, played a pivotal role in creating Facebook Messenger, and he was the guy who was spearheading Facebook's DM project, but unfortunately did not kick off. Now, David Marcus, guys, is the CEO of Lightspark, and he had an interview with the podcasting channel called Decoder with Nilay Patel, and in that interview, he did actually state that Bitcoin is still the future of payments. So what I'd really recommend you to do is read through the article which is written in The Verge, because in the article via The Verge, it does have the full transcript as well, and looks like the former Facebook executive is trying to prove them wrong with his Bitcoin startup. And guys, if I'm not mistaken, David Marcus did play an active role in setting up PayPal as well, but I could be wrong on that. So what you can do is read through the article via The Verge, or also listen to the entire episode, which is available via Spotify. Now guys, let's discuss some news regarding the US commodity future trading. Now one thing you need to understand guys is the CFTC is not in good terms with the Security Exchange Commission, and that is a completely different topic altogether, because what the CFTC says is that Gary Gensler from SEC is trying to determine what are securities and what are not securities, and to be honest guys, that is a completely different section altogether. And Gary Gensler was grilled by the members of the parliament, so check out those videos. It'll give you some indication of the drama going on between US commodity futures trading and SEC. But this time, the US commodity future trading is saying that crypto must end anonymity for all illicit finances. And Christy Goldsmith Romero, a commissioner of the US commodity future trading, said that cryptocurrencies were being used to finance cybercrimes, with victims including individuals, companies, hospitals, and critical infrastructure. And Reuters has provided a brilliant explanation. Now guys, listen, I partially agree to it, and it's so important that we truly understand the difference between privacy and anonymity. Now having privacy is great, but at the same time you should have the option to share to the world if you have done this transaction. Now if you do want to find out detailed comparison, what I'd recommend you to do is try to understand Monero, because Monero is 100 private, but if you look at Zcash, Zcash focuses more on anonymity, and Zcash uses zero-knowledge proof. But one of the drawbacks of Zcash is that the privacy is not by default. What that means is, let's say if there are 100 people who are transacting, then all the transaction details are completely open. But if you choose to be private, out of the 100 people, it becomes obvious that you are the one who's trying to be private, and that defeats the whole purpose of privacy. So try to understand what Monero is, and try to understand what Zcash is, and that will give you a very good explanation between the difference of privacy and anonymity. And guys, to be honest, this is one of the reasons why guys, government could aggressively go after privacy coins. I very specifically remember even in Dubai in 2016 you could buy Monero, but all of a sudden I received an email from Bitwise state that Monero cannot be traded and you cannot buy or sell Monero, and they did not give out any explanation as well. So I really am not sure what the future of privacy coins is, but that thing being said guys, I kind of disagree to what the US Commodity Future Trading or CFTC has to say regarding crypto must end anonymity for illicit finances. And once again guys, until and unless we have 100% separation between the money and the state, we'll have to deal with this drama by legal entities. So those were the news guys from Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. Now let's discuss two news from Dubai UAE in the Middle East. And in the month of June guys, I'm going to be having two events, and the first event is called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order. And guys, this Metaverse event takes place on the 2nd of June from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And guys, I tend to do this session every month, and the goal is to educate the people on Metaverse. Now there is so much of hype surrounding Metaverse. Ever since Facebook changed its name from Facebook to Meta, I saw people becoming experts in LinkedIn overnight. So I'm going to be discussing what the hype surrounding Metaverse is, understanding Metaverse and its impact, the institutions and companies joining on board, and we'll also go and explore reality versus expectation, and the hardware and software limitations, and real-life use case. And look guys, right now we are in the worst geopolitical chaos, and so far as Metaverse is concerned and the New World Order is concerned, will the USA have a competitive edge, or will it be Saudi Arabia, or will it be the United Arab Emirates? So I'll go ahead and explain and give my thoughts and opinions on that, and what are the steps a country can do in order to be an early adopter. So essentially guys, this session is broken down into three parts. That is part A, part B, and part C. In part A, we'll look at the history of Metaverse, what is the Metaverse, the hype surrounding Metaverse, the hardware and software challenges in the Metaverse. In part B guys, we're going to be looking at areas where Metaverse merges with physical world, and I'm going to be discussing the numerous news and events taking place surrounding Metaverse in Dubai, and I'm going to be focusing on areas where blockchain merges with Metaverse, and do we actually need blockchain in the Metaverse? Now look guys, I'm a massive advocate of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and fortunately, when you talk about Metaverse, I don't think that blockchain protocols will be an ideal fit in the Metaverse, but nonetheless, I'll go ahead and discuss some of the blockchain protocols or blockchain platforms in the Metaverse. We'll also discuss the top Metaverse platforms. We'll discuss the limitations of blockchain, and it's so critical guys, when you talk about blockchain, you truly understand what the blockchain trilemma problem is and how that fits and how it's manipulated in the Metaverse. We'll also discuss NFT in the Metaverse and artificial intelligence, which has had so much of hype lately. We had ChatGPT, we have GPT-4, and we have AutoGPT. So we'll go and discuss how that thing would merge with the Metaverse. And finally guys, in part C, we'll look at Dubai Metaverse strategy. And guys, I have a standalone episode discussing Dubai Metaverse strategy, so please feel free to check it out. We'll also look at the legal governing body, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, and what role do they play in Dubai Metaverse strategy. And guys, one of the visions of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the top 10 city in the world so far as Metaverse is concerned. And last year, guys, Dubai also had Dubai Metaverse Assembly at an iconic museum of the future. As a matter of fact, guys, I have an interview with Richard Patel, who was the sole person responsible for arranging that event, so please feel free to check it out. And I'm also going to be discussing the different networking events that you can have and quite a lot more. The session is completely free, of course, and you can find the registration link in the show notes below. Alternatively, guys, go to eventbrite.com and just search for Blockchain DXB or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And listen, guys, if you do want to sponsor the event, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, because I'm definitely looking for sponsors, and what I can do is I can mention your name at the beginning of the session, and even in the slides, I'll be more than happy to put across your company's details and what are the different services that you have. So if you do want to sponsor these sessions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And guys, the second event that is taking place is called a PESTLER analysis on Bitcoin on the 2nd of June, and this, guys, takes place between 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And one thing which I did mention earlier, PESTLER is an acronym which stands for Political, Economical, Social, Technological, Legal, Environmental, Religious Analysis on Bitcoin. And to be honest, guys, PESTLER analysis can be done for any industry as well, and it is a great tool used to gain a macro level picture of an industry, and it allows a company or an industry to form an impression of the factors that might impact a new business or an industry. So in this session on the 2nd of June at 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, we break down elements of Bitcoin at a macro level to better understand its impact, and we discuss each area in detail to get a much better understanding of Bitcoin. So when you talk about politics, guys, I always ask this question: is Bitcoin apolitical? Now listen, guys, Bitcoin was created as a movement to a separation of money and the state, but politics and politicians do have a very strong say so far as Bitcoin is concerned, and I'll go ahead and explore what right-wing or Republicans think of Bitcoin and what left-leaning ideologies and left-leaning politicians think of Bitcoin. And UK, we'll go ahead and discuss what is it that the conservative thinks of Bitcoin and what is it that the Labour Party thinks of Bitcoin. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss how does politics impact Bitcoin. And the second part is economical. Now listen, guys, Bitcoin is created as the biggest global wealth redistribution. And can Bitcoin actually change the dynamics of money, the very nature of it being fixed and the demand keeps fluctuating? We'll go ahead and discuss what kind of impact does it have and what role does it play in inflation, exchange rates, and quite a lot of other. And the third factor is social, and we'll go ahead and discuss the social impact of Bitcoin and blockchain for generations to come. We'll go ahead and discuss what kind of an impact Bitcoin has had in first world countries and underdeveloped countries. And guys, one thing which I'm really surprised a lot of them underestimate and think that it is the millennials who are the ones who acquire a lot of Bitcoin. So we'll go ahead and ask this question: are millennials or boomers or late boomers are the ones who have acquired a lot of Bitcoin? And to be honest, guys, the numbers will be surprising. And regarding technological factors are concerned, we'll go ahead and discuss the user experience of Bitcoin. We'll go ahead and discuss the different forks of Bitcoin. And guys, few years ago, there was a massive update that did actually take place in Bitcoin, and you had Taproot and Snort Signature. And because of that, guys, we are able to do NFTs in Bitcoin blockchain, and that was one of the biggest hypes heading into 2023. Did pick up a lot of momentum, not just in the NFT space, but also in Bitcoin blockchain as well. So we'll go ahead and discuss the technological factors. We'll look at economies of scale for setting up mining operations and quite a lot of other. Now regarding legal factors are concerned, guys, we will look at: is Bitcoin legal? Where does governance, regulations, and legislations fit in? And what is it that governments can do to support innovation and Bitcoin? And we'll also very briefly explore: was El Salvador's decision to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender was a good move, or was it a terrible move? And what kind of impact did IMF have on that? And guys, regarding environmental factors are concerned, we will look at Bitcoin mining energy consumption and this massive hype of ESG, which is driven by left-leaning ideologies, and Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. And we'll also go ahead and look at past, the current, and the future state of environmental impact on Bitcoin. And finally, guys, regarding religious factors, we'll ask this very basic question: is Bitcoin Sharia compliant? And what are the religious factors and commonality in Bitcoin? And how is Bitcoin seen in the Middle East? keeping in mind the religious factors. And guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is Dr. Saifuddin Amos. He has a couple of episodes explaining the commonalities between religion and Bitcoin, so definitely feel free to check it out. Loads of useful information on that. And guys, the session is completely free of cost, and if you do want to sign up for it, go to eventbrite.com and search for blockchaindxb.com or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And once again guys, if you do want to sponsor this event, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com and I'll mention your company's details in each of the slides, and also maybe have a video explaining your products, probably at the beginning of the session, maybe towards the break time and towards the end of the session as well. So sign up for these sessions. The link for registration is in the show notes below. So that's all for today guys on the Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Sharon who asks, have you heard of AutoGPT and how can that be used for cryptocurrencies? Now Sharon, yes, I did hear about AutoGPT, and to be completely honest, I still haven't got my head revolved around it. Now I'm a massive fan of ChatGPT and I tend to use it probably 3 to 4 times a day. A lot of my podcasting work does get miserably easier because of ChatGPT, but based on the research what I have done, looks like AutoGPT is like ChatGPT on steroids. Now, so far as its use in cryptocurrencies is concerned, some of the obvious use case I can think of is, let's say, coding or creating better image qualities or artificial intelligence enabled NFTs. But what I really think AutoGPT can be used for is maybe creating better user experience. Now, really, I'm not sure what user experience AutoGPT could come up with. Maybe a user experience that we still haven't experienced yet. And one thing, Sharon, which I tell in my Metaverse Everything podcast, which I do think can be applied for the cryptocurrency world as well, in order for people to switch from current existing systems to new systems, and in case of, let's say, cryptocurrencies, in order for people to switch, let's say, from banking industry to the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the user experience has to be 10 times better. Until and unless the user experience is 10 times better, people will not switch. Now, can AutoGPT be used to create user experience that we still haven't experienced in the cryptocurrency world? Maybe some ideas that we humans haven't developed yet. I do think that would be a brilliant use case of AutoGPT merging with cryptocurrencies. And other than that, AutoGPT can definitely be used for creating some unique out-of-the-world experiences in the metaverse. That thing being said, Sharon, AutoGPT can be used for negative purposes as well. Could it be possible that the US government, military, or any other military department uses AutoGPT and maybe technologies far beyond what we can think of in order to have more control over our spendings in cryptocurrencies? I really am not sure. Now, I'm not sure, Sharon, if you've also looked at AI agent that AutoGPT does, and that is an absolute game changer. Now, can AI agent be used for trading? I really am not sure. Maybe it could be possible that some of them who are using AI agent to do trading will definitely have a severe competitive advantage maybe in the next few months, but as and when people are getting aware about it, I'm pretty much sure it's going to be a competitive field. So those are my thoughts and opinions. But to be honest, Sharon, I definitely need to do more research on that, and that is one of my biggest agenda over the weekend. But thank you so very much for that brilliant question. So that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. And guys, I'm actively looking for sponsors for my podcast. So if you're a business entity or a startup or someone working in the cryptocurrency, blockchain, metaverse, or NFT space, and if you do want to sponsor these sessions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.